and they're about to take the whole thing. They're making these rapid gains. Of course, the American side just wants to shut it all down. Here's the problem. There's immense distrust on both sides that they will adhere to any kind of agreement. Putin knows that if we just stop the fighting right now, that is going to give the advantage to the Ukrainians. They get to mobilize more personnel. They get more equipment from NATO and from the United States. So Putin has said that the condition for a ceasefire, he said this in Turkey in June, Putin said, my condition for a 30-day temporary ceasefire is you have to demobilize. You have to leave the territories that we have occupied. The United States and NATO cannot send any more weapons shipments, and Ukraine cannot mobilize any additional personnel, because otherwise, why would we stop? You want to call a timeout because you're losing. And when you call a timeout, then you're just going to consolidate and gather strength for the second round. You're going to lay more mines. You're going to lay more defensive fortifications, mobilize more manpower and equipment. Why would we call a timeout right now? On the flip side, with the Americans and the Ukrainians are seeking security guarantees. Because even if Putin agrees to a ceasefire or a comprehensive peace, the big concern is that on a long enough timeline, Russia will fortify. Russia will consolidate their forces. And so if Russia has come this far, if they already invaded, if Russia succeeds in taking NATO membership off the table for Ukraine, and Ukraine is no longer able to access that defensive treaty and then have protection from the United States and Europe, Ukraine is concerned that what would stop Russia from starting the war all over again? If they were willing to do it the first time, absent a defensive alliance with the United States and Europe, Russia will once again try to test whatever ceasefire line is created. They will test it. They will push on it. Eventually, they might reinvade and go for more territory, either to take the entire coast of the Black Sea or take the capital, cross the Dnieper River. They're going to come for more. So Ukraine wants America to be in Ukraine. Ukraine says we need security guarantees, defensive guarantees. But what's the architecture of the deal then? Because what Russia is asking for is that Ukraine can never join NATO. Because if Ukraine joins NATO, that means American missiles and troops and equipment on Russia's border. But for Ukraine to feel safe, they're going to need some guarantees. Maybe they can't join NATO, but they would feel more comfortable if they had an American or NATO presence